The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Happy Friday and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we analyze and deconstruct the latest news pertaining to your health, fitness, and diet, where we break down what we hear and what we see and see if it makes sense to us. And we encourage your participation by dialing 877-974-6648. You don't say dialing too much anymore.
That's
just
funny.
Punch it in, yeah. You can tell how old I am now.
Well, no, you can't.
And we, of course, we encourage your participation also by Health Signals newsletter and, of course, getting some Primal Edge, like this stuff right here.
Yes,
good for
absolutely.
You. And my name is Nico Haan. This is Paige Clarke. Welcome, Paige, to the show. It's a beautiful day here.
Happy Friday, everyone. And I bet everyone's getting ready to have a wonderful Thanksgiving and hopefully a very healthy primal-type meal. Let us know what you've got planned in the chat room. We'd like to see, we want to sit here and get our taste buds going. So if some of you guys have some creative ideas. Nico's having a duck.
Yep.
And I wanted to thank you. Again, you and Ellen hosted the Bradenton Primal Group's Primal Meetup. We're getting a great little group of people. I love our people out there, Jasmine, everybody. Tim.
Yeah, we watched a movie called Broth, and very interesting.
No, we didn't watch Broth. We watched Carb Loaded.
Oh, yeah, Carb Loaded.
Yeah, so we made it like
watching too many here.
Yeah, a little dog. We made it a fun documentary. If you get a chance to upload that one, I'm sure you can probably get it somewhere on the internet. It was very good, and it really kind of, again, emphasized the fact that if we go back to a primal lifestyle, good, healthy, real foods, unprocessed by man, we can all enjoy great health and add years to our life and life to our years.
That's for sure, and it was great seeing those people again. Some new people came too, so that's very good. And I hope to maybe do this on a regular basis, maybe every 90 days or something like that.
I think it's great, and I think I'm putting together a group with Jasmine at my office.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, next month, so she needed a speaking spot, and she was asking me, I guess some of the libraries where we've talked, they have a different little arrangement now. I said, well, you can go to my office. She says,
for sure.
So we're waiting on that all to come together. Hey, join that Facebook group. Go out there and join it and listen to the conversations. A lot of these people are just really posting interesting things. We got some information on the chat room. Hi, Jay. What can we eat for Thanksgiving that's healthy?
Well, there's many things. Any kind of animal, first of all. The wilder, the better.
Yeah.
And
animals that eat the things that the animals are supposed to eat. And if I were having a choice, we love our family traditional meals, but maybe we can really look for things and be more mindful of eating some of the vegetables that have colors, the yellows and the greens, and maybe stay away from the potatoes, even those sweet potatoes, guys. Although, once a year, having some sweet potatoes is not the worst thing in the world.
No, I don't think so.
And that's the thing, that's the beauty of what we do, folks, is we try and help people adapt a lifestyle that helps them maintain these blood sugars that allow them to be in a fat-burning store, having a warm body and good energy, without gaining the weight and having that loss of energy and the aging and the glycation that a lot of people have. Speaking of glycation, before I forget, one of my good friends, Diane, that works for me in my office, shared something really cool.
Okay.
You get them at Bed Bath & Beyond. It looks like a crock pot, kind of, but it's actually a pressure cooker shaped like a crock pot. So it's an electric plug-in.
Right.
I thought, what a great thing to do bone broths in.
Yeah,
so if you have a Bed Bath Beyond where you are, think about putting that on your Christmas wish list so you can be making your healthy bone broths.
Yeah. Pressure cookers are really cool because they actually make cooking a little bit quicker.
They make it quicker, and I think there might be some nutrient balance because of the holding the lid in.
Right, so you're not losing it. It's not like steaming it.
Yeah, so I don't even know what the make is. She flashed a picture of it. She's always telling me, like, where to find good things,
There's a lot of good pressure cookers around, so too.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about another movie, too, because there's a lot of information coming out now, and I think it was yesterday I got an email from the Bulletproof executive showing that a new movie came out called Origins.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
he has been working on this with a lot of people, Dr. Sinatra, April James, all these people who
Real leaders in the ancestral
yeah,
movement.
they really are the leaders out there, and they're coming up with a lot of great information. This movie, I watched it a couple times already.
You already watched it?
I already watched it this morning.
Okay, I missed it on your Facebook post, but I didn't have time to get on there. But
Yeah,
Origins, the movie, the planet is an ecosystem of life, and we are part of that ecosystem.
Now, if you go to the TFNN site and you click on the get this thing to work here. What's going on here? The mouse is going all over the place. The mouse is not cooperating. Okay, you go down to Living a Primal Lifestyle. Oh, this mouse is really crazy. First the keyboard, then the mouse. And you go to the Primal links. I got the movie.
You already posted the movie.
I already
See,
posted
guys?
the movie. So you can go right to the movie, and it's really interesting because it really encompasses everything that we talk about here on the program.
I'm going to download it and watch it on the plane.
Yeah, you should definitely do that.
Yeah.
It starts with just the origin of the species, where we came from, but it really encompasses just about everything that we talked about. Is our lifestyle, the indoor lifestyle that we have today, as good for us as living out in the wild and having less shelter? I know if you watch movies about mountain men and stuff like that, when they come into a cabin, they have a hard time sleeping because they want to be sleeping under the stars like our ancestors did. And, even that Crocodile Dundee movie, he was sleeping on the floor. These are just little hints of things that we do that are natural to us, and then when we're kind of breaking that in our modern way of living. And it's much more about that. Of course, it goes into the chemicals. It goes into, how many chemicals we're using these days. I mean, there's 750 tons of chemicals every single day being produced in the United States, and that does not include things like the fertilizers and the chemicals for food and, the weed killers and the things we use in war. There's just normal house cleaners and things that we use that really disrupt on a low level our immune system.
Our entire energy body,
Exactly. That's a great way of putting it. So I really highly recommend people watching this. I posted on Facebook. It's probably all over the web now.
I like what Dave Asprey said, again, the founder of the Bulletproof Executive, as he mentions in this article. A lot of these chemicals have never been tested for safety or efficacy, and we eat low levels of this every day in our food supply that we did not evolve to consume. Folks, that little phrase, when I see that, never been tested for safety. Yeah. There's so many things that we are exposed to every day, like vaccines, like fluoride, that have never been tested for safety, and yet we allow powers to be to convince us that there have been these things done, and they have not been done. So we have to take control and say, no, these have not been done, and I'm not going to include them in my life.
Yeah, and he really shows you in this movie that when you shower and you're using the soap and you're putting cream on your body and, of course, you're eating breakfast, at each step we're taking in toxins that disrupt our natural way of living. And so if you go through the whole day with, buying coffee that is not organic and has chemicals in it, or maybe it's moldy, to using packaged food, or going to the donut place, or going just for a snack someplace, or going out to eat and not, having the same 3 vegetables that every other restaurant in town has.
Right.
No diversity whatsoever. Brushing your teeth, using fluoride with the water to bathe yourself, to brush your teeth, maybe even to drink. Some people do that still. To all the spraying that's going around in your city, the dust that we're producing, the animals that come along with us that are domesticated because we're domesticated. All these things are just another layer to the disruption of us. And they talk a lot in this movie about not only, how it's doing it to our everyday life, but every aspect of our life. And that's the real interesting part, from the sexual problems. That men not, the
hormonal disruption.
Yeah, the whole hormone, women not conceiving as much. We're conceiving more in third world countries than we are in the modern world, where we're supposed to be healthy, because the women are not able to get
And then we have
pregnant.
organizations that are going over there and trying to stop that.
Yeah.
You know, with the toxins. So.
Yeah, and then, of course, the whole cesarean thing. In fact, a lot of women schedule their cesarean, and how that really makes the baby at a disadvantage going into life. And
Right.
It shows up 20, 30 years later when the baby's 30, 40 years old.
Right.
To also not breastfeeding, that the chemicals in the breast have so much to do with the development of the baby. To have a natural childbirth where through the canal before the baby takes the breath gets all the nutrients for that prebiotic for your stomach to
Correct.
start eating this food.
That inoculation. And it's very difficult because, you know, I had 2 children vaginally, and then my last one, I did end up, he was breech, and they insisted on a C-section. So, you know, he did miss that, but I did breastfeed all 3 of my children. You know, wish I had done it even longer than I did. I shot for a year.
That's really remarkable in today's
You know, my new
world.
grandbaby, who is just absolutely lovely, beautiful, he's now 10 months old.
Yeah.
He's completely breastfed, and but he will take breast milk in a bottle from me when I'm watching him and everything. He has not had a cold. He has not had a diaper rash. And I want you to understand that I think back, I can remember diaper rashes, and I associate that with the vaccine schedules and that toxic waste that's happening to these babies. And I am just really curious. I'd like to do a survey to find out how many babies that, you know, have not been through that insane vaccine schedule, and what kind of, you know, situation they have with their skin and the little bumps and all that going on, because he's just as happy as he can be, bright-eyed, no snifflies. And I see other babies out there, and I see them, and I can tell they have a cold, but I don't want to say I bet they got their shots.
Yeah.
You know?
This movie also goes into living outside and what we can do outside and what we used to do outside.
Be an outsider.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. You know, and, you know, just a lot of us don't have the skill even to light a fire from scratch without the matches or a lighter or anything like that.
Yeah, I think it's important that we start to think about survival skills. I personally, my son's really into all that stuff, and he's got a bug-out bag and all that. He likes all that stuff. It's manly, but I think it's a wise woman too, and that's what I want to do a lot this winter too. Is just, you know, less is more, but have the knowledge to know that I can take care of myself.
Yeah.
What's wrong
We'll
with
be
that,
right
guys?
back, folks. The number here is 877-927-6648. Please pick up my Health Signals newsletter. We'll talk about that a little bit as we go on. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhoads, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, folks. This is Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. Please take time to look at my Health Signals newsletter. I got a brand new issue, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today.
Yay, giving thanks organically.
This is the first article here, and it really gives you a good indication of how you can go organic in Thanksgiving with some nice links about where to buy a turkey, how to buy it, where to buy organic ingredients, and take the pledge, kind of. Next article, go through this. Man, this mouse is so slow today. What's going on here?
We're having a little technology test.
Yeah,
Low-carb, high-fat diets may reduce epilepsy seizures. Guys, no surprise, because we know our brains need those healthy fats.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I go too far. This is about mass sterilization exercise that they do in Kenya. You find a lot of articles like this one. This was documented real well. I thought I'd throw it in there just to show you what may be going on with a lot of these companies when they vaccine people.
Yeah, we've got these companies. The average American thinks they're doing humanitarian moves, but in reality, they're not so much there to prevent tetanus, but to make sure they get those anti-fertility factors into these people's bodies. In fact, there are countries, folks, that are suing the Gates Foundation over the damage that the people of their countries have incurred as a result of these vaccinations.
This is a long article. I put it in here because it really encompasses a lot of things about nutrition and why it's confusing to a lot of people. Like, you know, everybody's different. There's been a lot of different books written on many different ways of eating and different dieting strategies for losing weight, strategies for being healthy. And it's important to put these things into perspective because there's a lot of things like the China study that you may or may not know what went on in there to come up with these answers that, you know, they're trying to convince us to eat a certain way. You know, nutrition. How often have you asked your doctor about nutrition, what should I eat, and does he really know what he's talking about?
Well, they don't get any nutrition training in medical school.
They really don't, exactly.
If they have any training in nutrition, they achieved it after school.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, you know, a lot of things are on the news, and we watch things like the Dr. Oz show and things like that. And of course, these are people that are sponsored by big corporations. So
there's
a lot
usually
of
an agenda.
Yeah, so there at least part of the show could be an agenda. There's also different kinds of science, what they call bad science. There's all kinds of different kind of studies that are done. And this whole thing really goes into the double-blind studies, the progressive studies, the animal studies, the short-term studies, and things like that. So I think this will help you understand why it's so difficult to get the type of information that we're trying to give to you, and try to make sense of it.
And what just popped in my head, I know you regular listeners remember when we read the headline about the New England Journal of Medicine. The New England Journal of Medicine, the editor for years and years came forward and said that that publication is not credible, that the research that they publish is not credible, and it has an influence. So, we do have to turn to the media, and we have to start looking for alternative sources. And a lot of people think, where do you go if you can't trust the New England Journal of Medicine? Well, you start looking at the alternative medicine that isn't controlled by these special interest groups.
They have an interesting article about steady smelling, and that's all I'll say about it. But it's kind of interesting. And
yeah, folks, you got to get on the newsletter. The people that are subscribing to the newsletter are able to really interact with us. They're calling us, they're emailing us, and hey, how nice is that? We both have our businesses, but because you're a listener, if we can help you email or talk to you for a short call, we do. And we follow up. And I've got something I want to follow up with. Remind me, I need to address. So get on board and get our newsletter. It's good stuff.
This article here about the truth about glycemic index and how that impacts what you eat. Just skim over that.
Yeah, a lot of people get confused about glycemic index and glycemic load.
Right.
And I think that article helps. And the article helps you with that.
This is a book, The Hidden Story Behind Vaccinations, Big Pharma, and
that's highlighting the movie Bought.
Yeah.
So we talked about that movie last week, folks. Be on the lookout.
And there's also an interview with Jeff Hayes, the producer of the movie, and the book before it. There's some great recipes here: steak rub, zesty burgers. I've got some.
Don't you think the steak rubs also protect the meat from glycation?
They do. I think they do, for sure. There's a crock pot. Boy, this thing's not working too well.
Balsamic ginger steak salad. Okay, so a great way to get your little bit of your...
There's another chicken thing in here, too. I can't get to it. And then there's a whole thing about exercise and overprotecting yourself. And
fooling your overprotective brain. That's the key thing, and I'm working on my whole primal release diet. I'm very excited.
Yeah. The name of that movie, by the way, is Origins.
Okay, Origins.
Yeah,
so
and
Google
find
that.
it on livingaprimalifestyle.com and go to Primal Links, and you'll find it right there.
See, you make it easy for us.
Yep. We'll be right back, folks.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with NADEX. NADEX, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, NADEX allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with NADEX in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. NADEX is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the NADEX banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments? Then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom OBrien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom OBrien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back. I'm Paige Clarke, and I'm here with Nico Haan, and we're talking about health. And guys, there's an article in the University of New York has found that pasteurized milk speeds death, heart disease, cancer, and bone fractures. But what you don't see on our headline there is after the little semicolon, it says yogurt and cheese have the complete opposite effects. And those of you who watch our show know that we try and help and educate and coach you to realize that we want to eat foods in their primal form. And we found that some of the most nutritious food on the planet for most people can be fermented dairy that comes from the right kinds of cows, eating the right kinds of grass, no grains, and can be one of the most healthy things that you do, right, Nico?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And the closer you get to the origin of that food, you know, there's a specialized genetic thing that took place somewhere in Europe and somewhere in Asia.
Right.
And in all the cultures, there's some in Africa too, that these 3 or 4 different cultures produced dairy products because the other food wasn't available, or maybe they were going through an ice age. There was a lot of things that might have happened that forced them to find other food, and they figured out a way to do it in a healthy manner. Drinking cow's milk for a lot of people is not tolerable. American Indians, Filipinos, things, you know, who haven't had that gene sort of emerge, switch over, whatever happened. So, you know, we are always evolving, and if we're evolving now from the 100 years of bad food that our culture has produced for us, what negative things are happening to us because of that? This thing points out that because the milk, specifically they were talking about, was pasteurized in a very modern form, that it really creates a lot of problems for our body.
Absolutely.
Because what happens is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a lot of this food is not bioavailable when you pasteurize. In other words, a lot of the life has gone out of it in a sense, isn't it?
There's 2 key factors that I want you to think about. And first of all, I want to thank again Green Med Info for giving us a great report. Instead of, they know what's really going on, and it's pasteurized milk that's the real danger here. But regular, I'm sure mainstream just put milk speeds death, or even if they, but the dairy lobby probably stopped them from that. There's 2 things I want you to be aware of. When they pasteurize milk, that's turning healthy fats into I'm just going to, for lack of a better word, turning them into trans fats. They heat those fats. The fat.
At very high temperature.
Yeah, at very high temperatures that creates a damaging fat. So your body, where this milk might have been a very healthful fat, now views this fat as a toxic fat, very much like the manufactured fats we see. The other thing is, when they pasteurize it, folks, they don't skim it out. So what would you rather have, live bugs or dead bugs? You know, so there's a bunch of dead bugs in pasteurized milk.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, they don't skim it out. They pasteurize it, and you're eating a lot of dead, you know, organisms. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Well, pasteurizing does kill a lot of organisms. It's kind of like antibiotics.
But
You know,
it really is.
And you break down the word, which you like always to do, antibiotic, against life.
Right.
You know, so you're killing not only the bad stuff that you want to get rid of, you're also killing the good stuff. So that has to be replenished. That's what they do with pasteurized, and that's why you see them fortifying it with these chemical vitamins and minerals. And
right, they end up fortifying, and then they also fortify it with versions that we can't use.
Right.
But as this article states, both men died earlier, both women died earlier, but yet cheese and fermented dairies like kefir, aged cheese were actually good.
And cheese and yogurt and things like that are heated to a different temperature, so they're not as drastically pasteurized, and the good stuff, of course, is never is.
Well, they're re-inoculated after the fact. So just some takeaway points, if you do happen to be a primal person and you are mindful and you find out that you do tolerate dairy well, or at least tolerate it some, it is a great source of protein. It's a good source of fats as long as it's not damaged. But the real story behind this story is the fact that, you know, it's focused on the fact that it's the pasteurized milk and dairy products that create the increase in cardiovascular disease, cancer, etc. You know, but there was an interesting inverse model for the calculation, and what it really showed was that, you know, both hip fractures and bone fractures incidence decreased among the women eating more than 60 grams of cheese, which is a form of fermentation. And these women enjoyed an increase of 50% lower or 36% lower for hip fractures. So for those that can tolerate dairy, and usually in the raw forms or fermented forms, we saw increases. And we also saw that it was decreased about, you know, even the bone fractures were reduced against for the cheesy men. The men who like to have a little piece of cheese. So you remember one of my favorite little aperitifs that I like to suggest people do is have a little pomegranate juice, concentrate, diluted in some water. Put it in your first glass of wine, you know, whatever. Have a little square of Gouda cheese, very high fermented aged Gouda cheese, raw cheese, high in vitamin K2. And, you know, feel good about the fact that you're doing some things that are good for your bones and your heart.
Yeah, and when we talk about these types of food, of course, there's different stages of this food, like in your cheeses. You've got the regular store-bought cheese that you can go to.
No overnight cheese, folks. Do not buy Kraft's overnight cheese product. I don't even like to call it cheese. You need to find cheese that are aged.
I don't know even what that is, but it doesn't sound very good.
Well, but you know what I mean. Basically, what you find in the supermarket, they don't. This is America. America's very proud of the fact. American food companies that they can produce cheese overnight.
Velveeta comes to mind.
Yeah, I call that a food like merchandise.
Yeah, well, it is merchandise. There's no doubt about it. So there's the regular kind, and we want aged cheese, and we want it non-pasteurized, raw if possible, or from organic and grass-fed animals. So there's all these stages make it better and better and better. So when you go to the supermarket looking for like Kerrygold, it's much better. We don't want it aged 15 minutes like Jay in the chat.
Yeah, you know, guys, going to the Kerrygold butter. Why do we promote Kerrygold butter? In fact, I feel really proud when I walk into Publix and they're sold out of Kerrygold, because I say, you know
That's
what?
us.
We helped that movement. And, you know, I'm sorry that they're sold out when you're there, so buy 3 and stick them in the fridge. But remember, why do we like Kerrygold? Well, you can look at the color difference and see it. You know, it's bright yellow. It comes from cows that eat rapidly growing grass, on grass that's not being pesticided. You know, we know that most foods that come outside of this country are the foods that have the life force. Dr. Marshall sources nearly nothing. Did you hear what I said? Sad. Nearly nothing in our formulas comes from the United States, because the United States foods have no life force in them.
About 4 ounces of Kerrygold is enough fuel for the whole day for me.
Is it really?
Yeah.
4 ounces is that's a half a stick of butter.
That's a half of those big blocks of butter.
Yeah, and for some of us...
that's about what I use if I have in the morning and in the afternoon my...
so that you put like maybe 2 tablespoons in the morning thing and 2 tablespoons at night?
Probably a little more in the afternoon, and then I also add in the afternoon a little bit of the honey.
Right.
About a half a tablespoon.
Yeah.
And I also put some of the beef gelatin in the afternoon to get my nails and my hair and my skin.
Yep. Our gelatin, you know,
looking good.
And like I said, guys, start thinking about those. So
that's
bone broths.
most of my lunch. Most of the time I don't have lunch. I have the coffee with the fat in it.
The coffee and the fat.
Yeah, because I had my protein already in the morning. I have the protein in the afternoon, a little bit of protein, and that's usually enough for me, which is really great. You know, I'm not. I can go back 7 or 8 years and put in a box what I ate during the day, and it's like 3 times as much. Really is.
It absolutely is. In fact, you know.
And I'm not hungry at all.
Well, when you become fat adapted, you feel just lighter. You feel your energy soars. I mean, you start to regain your primal shape.
Yeah, you're in the groove too. Everything's kind of like you feel a little oily. You know, everything's moving really good.
Yeah,
and,
everything's and nothing's cricking and cracking. And so you know, if you guys want some help getting going, give us a call.
There's still going on, but it's not as bad.
It's not like it would be.
No,
not like it would be. We're always willing to help you guys get going. So never hesitate to call Paige at TFNN.com, Nico at TFNN.com. Remember, you know, we'll meet with you. And for me, I consult with people all over. And always, for your first TFNN, you know, it's complimentary, so we can get to know each other.
So I want to go back a little bit to that the film Origins, because I just thought of
must have been good. I can't wait to watch it.
It's really good because it really encompasses just about every aspect. From thousands of years ago, we looked at the sky. Today, we're looking at our tablets and our phones and our television and our computer. And, you know, this is really artificial light. It's not really, and it's not really good for us. They've kind of proven that in several ways, all of this electricity going through the air. But, you know, just being outside as much, taking place in going outside and doing some of the activities that we would need to survive is a lot of work. No, we'd be spacing it out during the day, and the squatting and the getting up and down off the ground, not sitting in chairs. Our bodies would be so much different. You know, we're trying to do these specific exercises. You know, I'm a personal trainer, and I instruct people how to move and what movements to do, and they're all kind of based on what we would be doing if we were actually doing some work. Now you come to a special place like a gym or a studio to do this work that we don't do anymore. In a sense, that's kind of, you know, so we're trying to jam it in an hour.
Yeah, it was at the beginning of that movie we were watching at your house last weekend. We were watching the Carb Loaded.
Yeah.
And they were showing just how the average American factory worker at the turn of the century, when we were establishing ourselves as the Industrial Revolution, I mean, these people were busting their butt.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't sitting
Well, not
at
only
the
that,
desk.
we were, I remember as a kid,
molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. When you first learn something in life, you have the most questions as you begin to apply that knowledge, which is why Steve Rhoads came up with the idea for his 7-week trading program. It all begins Saturday, November 22nd, when Steve Rhoads will host a live 3-hour morning workshop where he'll teach his attendees the precise methodology he uses when placing trades. You'll then receive 6 weekly updates each Monday morning discussing the possible alerts currently setting up in the market. Steve will then bring everyone back together for a final 3-hour live workshop Friday, January 9th, where he'll discuss the methodology that went into each of the 6 weekly updates, making sure that you're confident in applying what you've learned so that you can begin navigating the market on your own. You can sign up right now for this entire 7-week trading program with Steve Rhoads for a one-time payment of only $395. If you're a Mastering Probability subscriber, then you can save an extra $100 off that price. For all the details, visit the front page of TFNN.com right now.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. This time of year, of course, it's Thanksgiving coming up next week. I always think about family, but also comes to mind, of course, cooking.
Oh, I know.
And one of the things in the fall that we like to do is get my chicken feet out, make some bone broth, but there's a lot of ways to make bone broth.
Yeah, we opened up the show. I told you that I saw that new pressure cooker, and it made me think that would be a great way to really, make a bone broth, because I think one of the best ways, one of our listeners, Alona, has shared with us her bone broth, and we've published that for newsletter subscribers, so I think Nico's going to run that as next newsletter. She's a guru on it, and I wanted to just kind of highlight, why do most people in the health and wellness experts, why do we feel that bone broth is such an excellent food, a great primal food? I think again we can think back to our primal ancestors. Probably didn't have time to sit around and eat huge pieces of meat. I mean, they get some meat, and then they had to make that resource last. Mm-hmm. They'd take those bones. They knew there was great nutrition in the bones. Our article tells us that the latest health food, superfood, isn't coming from a Tibetan Mount cider or a Peruvian rainforest. You can probably just make it yourself just as easily if you make a quick trip to the butcher. Try and go get some organic bones. Get to know your butcher. You wouldn't believe the stuff sometimes they'll even just give you.
Well, you know what bone broth also makes me think of is when I was ill as a child. Mm-hmm. These are one of the things that either a chicken broth or a bone broth was always one of the things that I had until I got better.
Right. And, I mean, the traditional, mother's chicken soup, there's a lot of reasons why people use these healing broths for when they were sick. But let's talk about just 4 general overall reasons why you should be making a bone broth. It should be something that you drink. We know the French, we look at the French, and we've always admired the French and how they maintain their physiques. You can think of the word consommé. Consommé is served as kind of like an aperitif between most meals. It's really basically, guys, a bone broth. Mm-hmm. And it's part of a staple of what they do. But beefing up your mineral intake is what happens. When you drink a bone broth, you become satiated, you become filled with nourishing bioavailable minerals and bioavailable protein like nothing you can ever matter.
And fats.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot
of fats, correct.
The fats are in there. And the fats kind of just melt into your body. I mean, that's the reason the bone broth really tastes so good because you're getting energy from it, immediate energy, because that transfer doesn't have to go through the whole digestion process. It's absorbed right through the intestinal walls.
Truly a whole food. Quote here, homemade bone broth is chock full of nutrients missing or underrepresented in today's modern diet. You know, it's so much more nutritious than a multivitamin, you know, your drugstore multivitamin, we'd say.
Yes.
You know, it's an excellent source of minerals like calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and potassium in a form that your body can easily absorb. The other thing that it does, it heals a leaky gut. Many people have a leaky gut. A lot of people have a leaky gut and they don't even know it. If you're a grain eater, show me a grain eater and I'll show you that you probably have a leaky gut. Yeah. So if you're having grains, you've, you know, the author of the autoimmune solution, you know, is stating out, you know, that many health practitioners are recommending these healing broths to be one of the main healing features of their client's healing regime. The gelatin in bone broth protects and heals the mucosal lining of the digestive tract, and it helps you to better absorb and digest your nutrients. Particularly rich is bone broth in a couple of amino acids that are not abundant in the meat. So it's kind of like a yin-yang, a positive, negative. It's a balancing, and that is glycine and proline. And these are very available in the collagen and so forth, when whether you're using our Great Lakes collagen that's easy to use, or you're using the actual bone broth. It also calms inflammation, calms your mind. People get great results from their joint health.
This is the same stuff that our brain is made of, fats and little protein.
But the icing on the cakes, guys, is you're going to look better. It's not your typical beauty food, but the collagen in there helps to rebuild cells, and most people enjoy radiant skin from having bone broth. So we hope you're going to think about it. Check out
Folks,
that thing I told you about.
Have a great Thanksgiving, and thanks a lot for sticking around.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great holiday.
Eat healthy and eat well.
Yes, enjoy.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.